Well, around the country now, schools from kindergarten to college are beginning to scrub their websites and change programming in response to President Trump's policies against diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. The president signing executive orders banning diversity practices across the federal government and educational institutions. Many private companies also reversing course on their DEI-related programs. Mills is here with more on this one. Mills, the Department of Education moving forward with the president's executive orders on this one. What's the latest?
Right, they are, and many states are confused about what exactly they need to get rid of. Schools and colleges scrambling this morning to meet an order from the White House after the Department of Education sent a Dear Colleague letter Friday night telling them that they must eliminate DEI programs or risk losing funding. In that letter, the department's Civil Rights Division says that they will no longer tolerate the, quote, overt and covert racial discrimination that has become widespread in this nation's institutions. The letter specifically names white and Asian students as victims of discrimination, though some leaders in higher education say that's far from what's happening.
This is a serious misunderstanding of DEI. Many people presume it to be about giving unearned, unfair advantages to particular groups. For the record, white women have been the single largest beneficiary of the nation's longest standing DEI policy, and that was affirmative action.
12 states have already passed laws that call for an end to DEI efforts. Another 12 have measures on the table, but the remaining states without laws on the book are all trying to figure out how to comply with this new federal policy. The University of St. Thomas in Minnesota, for example, lost a $6.8 million federal grant because the Trump administration deemed it was related to DEI. The grant provided scholarships for grad students pursuing a teaching license. University President Rob Vischer says the majority of scholarship recipients were white.
It was not a DEI initiative in terms of anyone getting a preference. The components that were going to further diversity were really making sure that our students were prepared to be effective teachers, no matter what cultural background their students came from.
And Vischer says they're exploring options to get the funding back because he says this cancellation doesn't further the priorities of the new administration amid a nationwide teacher shortage.
Yeah, I know schools are trying to figure out, okay, how do we move forward? Parents are also wondering what this means for their kids moving forward. How big of an effect will this have on public K through 12 schools and colleges, too?
Right. Well, I was digging into the data last night about how much these school districts get funding from the state, local, and federal government. Universities have a financial net with student tuition, but they still receive billions from the Department of Education for scholarship, research, and loans. On the K through 12 side, schools actually get most of their funding from state and local government through taxes. The federal government provides about 11% of funding for public K through 12 education, and it gives more money to Title I schools, where a large percent of students come from low-income families. So schools in poorer communities have more to lose if they don't get rid of DEI initiatives. Markie, when President Trump signed an executive order aimed at ending DEI policies in the public and private sectors, higher education groups filed a lawsuit saying that the order violates the Constitution. So this directive is likely to also face legal challenges.
Yeah, we'll see where all of this heads from here. Mills, thank you so much for that update this morning. Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.